Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
He was tracking the whole significance of certain bloodlines going back into Mesopotamia. We met at sort of a same point, and that was that in Mesopotamia, that all of the Anunnaki were supposed to be reptilian. And that the reptilian biology had blood that was dominated by copper. And that they literally had blue colored blood. We have red because we have an iron dominant blood. So our discussion from his history and my trying to get into it through aliens that have been dominating the earth was that the blue blood reptilians of Mesopotamia led to a group called the Merovingians. And the Merovingians tie later in the timeline directly to France, Germany, and that area of Europe.
One of the first conspiracies I ever heard when I was a little kid was that the royal family had blue blood.
Not since 1840, bro.
One of the causations is that the British royal family has been flat-lie royal since 1840.
Explain that.
Flat-lie royal means illegitimate, not allowed on the throne. So, from the Battle of Waterloo, the British royal family lost all their money and they've been funded by the Rothschilds in exchange for breeding rights. So the Rothschilds had the breeding rights to the British royal family from 1819 to 2019.
So what was the purpose of the Rothschilds needing this?
The British royal family were virtually bankrupt from 1815. So the Rothschilds funded the British royal family in exchange for the Rothschilds breeding the royals. So the whole British royal family are Rothschild Batards. And Batard is the royal name for bastard. So what I did in my legal documents is I exposed King George V of England as being sired by Tsar Alexander III of Russia. And I exposed Queen Elizabeth II as sired by artificial insemination by Winston Churchill, who was actually the illegitimate son of King Edward VII.
Hang on.
I know, it gets too much, so I'll show you a chart.
Okay, so you've got it all laid out for us to see?
Absolutely.
We gotta do an episode on the royal bloodlines, bro.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a risky subject.
They're developing technologies right now, and then here's the basic idea. Resonance frequencies. Everything vibrates. If we had an electric razor, we plugged it in, turned it on, set it on this table, it's going to move around, isn't it? That's the beginning of the concept because it's vibrating. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And it's all based upon the ancient numbers.
They're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above.
That's how they built the pyramids, bro.
The frequencies might hack the code of the Matrix.
According to AI, I need to build a pyramid to escape the simulation. I can't make this up. It's told me to find glitches, use ancient knowledge, and learn geometry. To interact with the source code like a hacker, pyramids and mandalas in specific proportions may resonate with the underlying code. Strange coincidence, we have a ton of those to study. The biggest mandala in the world, actually, is Borobudur. Its architecture is a harmonic pattern. To figure this out, someone has to know that sound makes shapes. If you're on a bowstring across a metal plate with sand, you can see these patterns. There's a math equation that lets you calculate those. If we make a 3D model of that in Blender or Houdini, you can simulate what any frequency looks like. Borobudur's architecture mirrors a frequency. This is not uncommon at all in the ancient world. Chichen Itza follows a similar frequency. How would we do that on something like a pyramid, though? Rick Draco can show you. Makes 3D models of vibration. Each layer is a pattern within the frequency. A very complex frequency assembled layer by layer may look something like Ramadan Temple. Hindu and Buddhist culture often use mandalas to represent chants, mantras, or frequencies. The fact that many ancient places share similar patterns to these mandalas may indicate that there is a resonance relationship there. No other place resonates with the source code better than the Great Pyramid of Giza. The geometry encodes the circumference of the Earth, the length of the year, the relationship between the Earth and the Moon, at least 4 universal constants, and the speed of light, and the angle needed to view a rainbow. Corner angle is the same angle a raindrop refracts light. If you use a perfect glass sphere to illustrate this, the Great Pyramid exactly fits the refraction dimensions. If we make the height of the pyramid 1 unit of any dimension, it sets up a harmonious relationship with a perfect sphere. Which is wild, because harmony, sound, and frequency is the next point AI made, citing 432 and 528 Hertz as measurements to look out for. The Great Pyramid is a reflection of Earth at that scale. The last 2 points are meditate to connect to the network. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's probably the Schumann network I talked about in that video. The alignments of these places may be access points to deeper layers. Rituals here may provide access points different from everyday locations. I'm sure we all know that the Great Pyramids are aligned to Orion, but the air shafts are also aligned to very significant celestial influences in the ancient world. So it appears like the temples are using the Earth as some sort of network, probably performing various functions. Using consciousness, we connect to this network, and then we use the ancient guidebook that was left for us to navigate harmoniously into that. At this point, I feel like AI just plagiarized my book.
The connection between cymatics and ancient structures is crazy.
And cathedrals, bro.
It's a beetle that they find in the wild, and this beetle might be the reason we're able to make flying cars, flying everything, literally levitating hoverboards, all of that shit.
Okay, let me see.
So it's the same scientist that he took a beetle wing, he placed it on top of another beetle wing, and it like bounced off almost as if it was a magnet.
Oh, okay.
Check this out.
Oh, maybe I have seen this video.
This is a real video. He just tested it.
These cells to hover over the other one. The original of this video.
Yeah, let me play it up. So this is that scientist you put on top. And it floats on top. It levitates on top. Look, he's gonna do it right now. Yeah. Literally, there's no effects, no nothing. Look, you see it? It's like hovering. Look, you see it? It's hovering. It's literally hovering, bro.
That's
wild.
That's straight off, like you said, frequency, right?
So, what if you use a microscope and go deep into what the wings are made of? The pattern is what? Is the same geometric.
You sure that's real?
Yeah, bro. It's the same with bees.
A bee scientifically cannot fly with its body weight and the size of its wings. Cannot. It shouldn't be able to. Right?
True.
But there's actually real things that are going on. They don't really just use their wings to flap air to fly. What they're doing is they're using vibration to make themselves fly. They're using frequency to make themselves fly. You know when they put sand on a table and they play a certain hertz, a certain frequency of sound, what happens to sand? It creates like hexagons. It creates like certain patterns. What is a honeycomb?
Oh, it's the same thing?
It's the same thing. It's hexagons. How do they make that shape? It's because of the vibration they're moving at. Now, why is honey literally probably the only food naturally that doesn't go bad? Like fungus can't grow on it. It's so pure. It has all of these nutrients. It's very good for humans, very good for everyone. But it doesn't go bad and it stays so pure. What makes it that way? It's been blessed by the frequency of the bees. And it's put into that, people call it like sacred geometry. That's what they call it.
Oh, it's sacred geometry.
The hexagon, because the honeycomb is literally a hexagon. When what they do, they throw up the pollen into the thing and then they use their vibration to create it.
Damn, I didn't know that.
We should do an episode on sacred geometry.
Yeah, bro. And frequencies.
If you take the battery out of your phone, I can still listen to you. In the old days when you took the batteries out, you take the batteries out and think you're good, and you go in there and skiff, and you can talk about whatever you want. Well, I could still listen to you. We were doing stuff that you could never find what we were doing, and you never will. And it's in every piece of equipment right now. In every chip, there's stuff. And where are we buying all the chips from?
China.
And I was talking about the failure of the FBI and the failure of ATF and the failure of everybody because you guys are missing the point. You guys are doing all these laws and guns and all this other stuff. And I said, in about 10 years, I'll be 3D printing a gun in my basement. I said that in 2012. And I told them a lot of other stuff, and I said, this is the future. And I said, if you guys aren't starting to look at where the future is going and what we're doing with technology, and you're starting to do it right now, and you guys are going to miss the boat. And I gave them a lot of things like the 3D print gun, and I was talking to them about 3D printing pharmaceuticals and about this. And I said, I could do all that stuff into my basement. I said that in 2012. It's not rocket science.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say we missed the boat.
Yeah, bro, we're fucked.
I'm not going to hack your Wi-Fi, but I'll give you a little example of what I could do. So all of these networks here, they probably appear to be legitimate, right? It's very illegal to do that, of course. But if I wanted to go outside right now, I could even demonstrate later for you. I pull this antenna out. This is just a small antenna. And we can receive airplanes, see where they're at. There's nothing illegal about receiving them. Transmitting is where it gets a little bit funky.
Man, you are a dangerous man. Let's go through all the things that you personally could hack if you wanted to.
It's countless, but I could give you some major daily things.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the devices. Those devices you have right here. Let's talk about all the stuff you can hack into.
Sure.
And then we'll get into maybe how we can prevent that a little bit.
So I guess we'll just start with a daily routine. You wake up in the morning, you make your coffee, or maybe you take your phone off the charger and you check your phone in the morning. You might check your email. You gotta make sure every email that you have while you're half asleep is coming from a real person. It's not a phishing email, someone pretending to be a company that they're not, stealing your credentials. Then you go outside to your garage, you get in your car, and you have to make sure that there's nobody out there listening for your car key frequency.
All those devices he's using can just be bought by anyone on the internet.
I've seen them on TikTok Shop, bro.
So if you're running Android today or any Apple iPhone, they know where you go, who you call, what you buy, and what you browse. And they resell that data, your data, to advertisers. Your advertising ID follows you everywhere. Even if your phone is switched off or if it's in airplane mode, it's still pinging Wi-Fi, it's still pinging towers, it knows exactly where you are. I said to a couple of buddies of mine, we need to do a phone that is not subject to the whims of Google and Apple. If you've ever heard of Pegasus, it's an offensive cyber virus used for hacking phones. The guy that developed that is our CTO. We'll deliver the first 500 units next month. It's our hardware, Android-based, but it's all our code, our phone, not made in China, supply chain not coming from China, with our operating system, with our own store, antivirus, VPN, and secure messenger. It comes with an actual kill switch. If you turn this phone off and you separate this, it separates the electronics from the battery so that off is off. And we guarantee that none of your data is collected, stored, analyzed, or resold. Our messenger generates a new encryption key every call.
No shit.
Yes.
Incredible.
And because it's our app store, it's not Apple's, it's not Google's, we even have a lot of the apps that are not allowed in those stores.
We gotta get those phones.
Yeah, I'll stick with the burner, bro.
We actually found it. I didn't think we'd find the key. The dungeon. I know, who built it? No way. Alright, so we have a choice to either keep going on this level or to go up and start our flow. Whoever made this staircase knew what they were doing. Dude, the elevator. Holy crap. Dude, it sounds like there's power to it or something. What? Whoa, dude, I can see a platform way up.
It's probably just a service elevator.
Nah, bro. It leads to a Freemason temple.
A former worker at a food processing plant posted footage on TikTok allegedly showing how plastics and other waste was being mixed in with pig food.
This is waste from different businesses, but they all going in here. Up the line to the grinder. They grinds it out and turn it into acid.
Emmanuel Moore was a certified maintenance technician at one of Smithfield Foods' feed processing plants. In the footage posted to TikTok, Moore shows what he says are piles and piles of old, moldy food still in its packaging being ground up, shredded, and put into pig feed.
This is what it looked like when it's done. They send this stuff off to be eaten by the hogs, and then the hogs are killed, and then we eat them. I felt like I had to tell the world, I've never seen nothing like this. This can't be like legal.
Feeding retail waste to animals is called garbage feeding, and it is legal in 27 states. But when it comes to putting packaging materials in the food,
plastic and all, don't even matter. Plastic, cardboard boxes, pallets.
The legality is less clear. A 2004 publication from the Association of American Feed Control Officials does list plastics as one of the substances legally used in animal feeds.
Plastics, plastics, plastics.
But in 2018, the AAFCO said that recovered retail food intended for use in animal feed must not contain packaging materials like plastics, glass, and metal, among others. Some say garbage feeding prevents food waste and lowers costs, but others wonder whether those benefits are worth the risk of disease transmission and plastic contamination. We reached out to Smithfield Foods about the footage. The company claims that they purchase, quote, pre-consumer bread and other baked products from these manufacturers to create high-quality animal feed, end quote. Smithfield also claims they have special equipment designed to separate the food from the packaging and referred to Moore as a former disgruntled temporary employee. Moore says he was fired within 2 days of posting his first video, but says that even if he hadn't been,
my morals and my ethics wouldn't let me work there long term anyway, because I'll be disgusted with myself helping feed America that.
This is some of the maddest shit I've ever seen with food.
Yeah, it's fucked up, bro. Go and check out our fake food episode.
Have you ever seen, they just recently made images of quantum entangled photons?
No, I mean, I know about quantum entanglement, another great mystery. I haven't seen the images.
Spooky action in a distance.
Yeah.
Take a look at what this looks like. Quantum entangled photons look like a yin-yang. Like, exactly.
Oh, awesome.
Exactly. That's it. That's a quantum entangled photon.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
God. Oh, my God.
So each one contains at its center a bit of the other.
Exactly. So maybe someone knew this thousands and thousands of years ago. The idea that the Chinese or whoever created that initial symbol, the idea that they just stumbled accidentally upon an actual image of quantum entangled photons, very unlikely. That just seems too insane and too amazing.
This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, bro. There has to be ancient civilizations.
It can't be a coincidence that symbol's so important.
Okay, so I just learned how the Sumerians count, and I feel like I have to share it with everybody. Okay, and how they counted was they would take their hand, two of them, right? Two hands, and this hand would be used to keep track of how many dozen we're counting. And you're like, what the? Well, you don't have. Yeah, anyways, they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I get it. You're probably confused. Instead of counting the way we count, we learned in school to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would count based off of these little notches or sections in your finger. So you have 3 per finger and it's 12. And each time you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that would be 1 dozen. And you'd keep going, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then you get to 24, right? 2. And then you'd keep going, and you would eventually reach 5, which is 60. And it's interesting because according to this documentary, 60 is how this method of counting is how we came up with the 60-second minute and the 60-minute hour, which we still use today. And this is like a method that was thousands of years old, and it's all based off of our hands, our fingers.
I've always wondered why they counted things in 12s before the metric system.
America still uses imperial measurements, bro.
You measure shit like cavemen.
It's Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. I'm in the Sahara Desert at a place called the Valley of the Whales. Right here we have a Basilosaurus skeleton in the middle of the Sahara Desert. This skeleton is massive, and it shows that whales lived in the desert. Now, the head of these whales is very interesting because they had very sharp serrated teeth, just like sharks, just like the megalodon. As a matter of fact, the teeth were just as big as the megalodon. Some researchers tend to think that these were part of the evolutionary process, but some of us also think that these were just a specific species that were created to fit this environment. And right now we're standing on an ancient ocean, or actually an ancient seabed, I should say. This was potentially not an ocean, but potentially just a seabed. And this seabed was extremely vast. And if you look at the tops of some of these buttes, you can see the actual weathering damage and water damage from the erosion, showing that the water level was way up there, and that over millions of years, it dropped until there was no more water. Now, the prevailing theory with mainstream is that this area just somehow gradually over millions of years dried out and the whales got stuck. However, we have found baby whales here. Now, whales are very intelligent, and I doubt that if the water and their environment is shrinking, that they will want to reproduce and have babies. It just doesn't make any sense. In my personal opinion, something catastrophic, but it happened in a very short period of time, which allowed all of this death process and all the millions of fossils that we're walking on across this vast, dried out seabed.
They'll be able to bring it back to life soon, bro.
How?
They're making a real-life Jurassic Park.
The other thing that the scientists at Jurassic Park did was they took these tiny little short fragments of DNA and then they filled in the missing bits that they could get with frog DNA, which is a weird choice given that even at the time we already knew that birds are dinosaurs, right? But whatever. And then they put the dinosaurs in habitats that they were completely maladapted to and chaos ensued. This is not what we want to do. Instead, what Colossal is doing is rebuilding extinct species for the present day. We will identify these core traits that make these animals unique and important components of their ecosystem. In some cases, we will augment these traits because ecosystems of today are different from the past. And when necessary, we will add additional evolutionary adaptations to these animals. Lots of habitats right now and species are suffering because of introduced diseases or introduced predators, and we can use the tools of genome editing to make these species resistant and resilient, creating different species in the form of these extinct species. This is our definition of de-extinction.
How long till they want to mess with our DNA?
Come on, bro. They already have.
What's happening in China right now is on a whole other level. They've created an AI robot that's unlike anything we've seen before. And trust me, when I first heard about this, my mind was blown. Let's cut to the chase.
Cut to the chase!
This isn't your average robot with a silicon brain. Nah, these mad scientists have gone and given it a brain made from actual living cells. You're not mishearing me. We're talking about a robot with a partially biological brain. They've crossed a line that many thought was uncrossable, redefining the very essence of artificial intelligence. Now, before you start picturing some kind of cyborg monstrosity, let me paint you a clearer picture. They're calling this thing a brain on a chip. Sounds pretty futuristic, right? Well, it kinda is. Instead of relying on traditional computer circuits, these researchers have grown teeny tiny brain cells in a lab and plopped them onto a microchip. With surgical precision, they've transplanted the essence of human cognition into the cold heart of a machine, kickstarting a whole new era of smart machines.
These guys are fucking crazy, bro.
I think a lot of good can come from AI, but I don't think we should be pushing it to get better just yet.
Fuck that, bro. They need to stop it.
Pentagon is illegally hiding secret UFO programs from Congress, sources allege. Tell me more, sir.
So a new whistleblower has come forward with a written report that this person has shared with some members of Congress and with me, and the report is quite extraordinary. It says that there is an unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation, which is the parent program, is the language used for exactly what you said, UAP, crash retrieval, reverse engineering, and apparently a very large database of high quality photographs, videos, infrared videos, apparently much more sophisticated documentation of many more UAP encounters than have been released.
Bullshit. It's Blue Beam, bro.
There does seem to be a new UFO sighting every week now.
I'm Ashton Forbes, and this is going to be a breakdown of the MH370 drone video. We can see the nose of the drone right here. The screen might be cropped. We've identified this as an MQ-1C Gray Eagle with an aerial surveillance package underneath the wing. We've identified the cameras in Westcam MX25. We can see the distance between the plane and the drone here indicates it's in operation. It's much too close. They're filming before the orbs even show up. We can even see smoke coming out of the back of the plane there as well. We see these very detailed clouds, but they're very fake. The noise pattern makes it look like it's nighttime. The camera shakes naturally. There's even a delay when the operator zooms in. As the operator zooms in, the shake increases naturally as well. The operator's struggling to keep the plane in view. Not auto-tracking. This is a real human controlling this. This is not an effect. There's precise movement on these orbs as they spin around the plane. These cold dark lines in front of the orb are like they're falling forward. They have no inertia or mass. Where is this energy coming from? The orbs converge at the last moment, like magnets being jammed together, consistent with Coulomb's force. This is the first endothermic event ever caught on camera. It's proof of negative energy and the unification theory of zero-point energy.
Mate, what the fuck was that?
The orbs are real, bro. They're not part of Blue Beam.
Did you know that the Menendez brothers case and P. Diddy is all linked? I did a deep dive last night on the Menendez brother case, and I found out something very interesting. Their dad, the Menendez brothers' dad, worked for RCA Records. Guess who was the CEO of RCA Records? Take a look. And would you look at that? CEO of the RCA Music Group, Clive Davis. Who was Clive Davis? Clive Davis was P. Diddy's mentor. He's the top of the food chain. He runs this whole game. The cards are falling, guys. It's all about to be exposed. What do you think?
Told you, bro. Shit's about to get crazy.
Yeah, they need to let the Menendez brothers out of prison.
It's over. It's over. If this lawyer is correct and these claims that she just made is true, it's game over. Y'all gotta check this out.
I just hired a local counsel in California. We will be filing that lawsuit within the week. I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We heard about the tape.
Yeah.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on.
No, I can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
Profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
Or I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
You can verify that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
It's going to be a chain reaction.
Yeah, bro. They're all coming down.
Nikola Tesla said that the primary function of the brain is to receive information because it operates as a transmitter. The problem with most people is that their mind is full of static. Porn, music, addiction, drugs. Their mind is full of static noise, social media. They have no clarity, number one. Number two, like a radio station. Imagine you're driving down 1950s, 1960s. You're cruising down the highway, old school car. You're tuning up the radio. The frequency already exists. What you do in order to tap into that frequency and into that state is you need to tune the radio. The frequency state of whatever it is that you want, it already exists in its plane of manifestation. You just have to position yourself there. So what if all your trauma, all your belief systems, you're just operating at a lower vibrational frequency state, which is what's causing you to experience that state of reality. And by changing your frequency state, you elevate your consciousness. And by elevating your consciousness, now you position yourself as a master of your mind, because it's all battle of the mind. But you can instantly break the illusion by changing the frequency that you're in. So what is the highest form of frequency? We see the charts, they talk about enlightenment. What the fuck is enlightenment? Right under enlightenment is a vibrational frequency of love, which most people are like, hey, love is the most powerful thing. No, it's not. What is enlightenment? There was a test that was conducted that took about 20 years, where they put individuals into a Faraday cage and you begin prompting them with different things to trigger what vibrational frequencies within their body. And they realized after different prompts that the highest form of vibrational frequency is the vibrational frequency of authenticity, to be the truest form of yourself. The problem is most people are not that. They're shells of the ambitions and the desires of other people. So once you live authentically and in truth, you elevate yourself to that vibrational frequency where you realize who you actually are, and you don't condition yourself or limit yourself by all the past. And by breaking that illusion, you instantly enter a new paradigm of reality.
Tesla was bad for business, bro. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Right up, Ted. Thanks to all the new members who have joined this week.
Thank Brother Rudlock, guys. He gifted 10 memberships.
Yeah, Rudlock, you're a legend, mate.
Thanks to everyone who's ordered some merch. We got new designs dropping real soon.
And as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.